Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Zach Pocklib, and I'm alongside with Elaine Wilson.
I know you had to get in that Masters plug, but I know it's also because deep down, you're really sad about college basketball ending. It's going to be okay,
I don't want to talk about it. We're just going to move on to the next season of sports.
ASU lacrosse has a historical program despite its inception less than 20 years ago. The Sun Devils have made it to the MCLA final for 6 times, 3 of which they played in the national championship game. And guess what? This season, they won 2 games, lost 4 in a row, then defeated San Diego State last week. Our own Brett Decker went out to practice to see how the team plans to bounce back. The action continues for ASU lacrosse this weekend. ASU takes on UNLV this Saturday at 1 p.m. at the ASU West campus. Catch the broadcast of the game with our lacrosse insiders at cronkitesports.com. All right, a lot of things going on for Twitter this weekend after the championship. Were you on Twitter for all of that?
Of course I was.
All caps tweets?
Actually, it's a requirement to put caps lock on when you're tweeting about the NCAA tournament, just so people know what month it is.
Absolutely. So to break down everything that happened on Twitter this weekend, we bring in our social media expert, Gavin Shaw.
Guys, we like to cover a lot of funny issues here in social media. It's a time for everyone to relax, take a cool down before we get back to some of the more serious issues in Sun Devil athletics. But we're going to start serious. There was a travesty that happened over the last couple of weeks in women's college basketball. Kelsey Kessler, fortunately the Arizona State softball pitcher, caught it. UConn's closest game throughout the tournament was a 21-point win. Guys, do we need to hire counselors? Is PTSD a risk? This is a scary psychological phenomena for women's college basketball. I don't know how I would deal with it.
I honestly think they probably need to add psychologists to the training staff for any team that has to face UConn at any point. They're just so dominant. I don't see anyone stopping them.
Like, this has been a long time coming, and Gina Auriemma has had those girls dominating college basketball for well over 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
Have 11 championships. I like seeing greatness. I don't mind it. They'll get better.
Zach, if you saw the Syracuse women's team rocking back and forth in the fetal position after that game, I think you'd have a little bit more empathy for them.
I might change my mind.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Maybe next time. All right, now we're sticking with Arizona State softball. This time we're going with a coach, Dallas Escobedo, the former superstar for this team. Guys, she was doing homework between 1:45 and 7:18. This is an assistant coach, but Elaine, she also has another role.
Yeah, actually, she is going to grad school currently, so I kind of understand that grind. Plus, we're getting to the end of the semester. Props to her. I could not have that kind of dedication.
Yeah, strict dedication, 6 hours. I mean, was it really 6 hours of doing homework? Was she playing around on the computer a little bit, checking Facebook and Twitter?
Yeah, I always take breaks.
Well, here's the thing that makes it feel legit for me. The times were so specific. 7:18, how do you even come up with that? As a journalism student, I couldn't imagine doing more than 30 minutes of homework at a time. So I appreciate your dedication. All right, third and final tweet coming up right here. Demarius Randall, the saga continues. Last week he was upset about the SDFC not letting him into the gym. Now he's upset about not getting followers until he was a first-round pick. Well, why would you expect followers if you're a first-round pick? If you play any position other than quarterback, you're not going to blow up on Twitter until you're in the NFL.
That's a good point. I mean,
unless you're like the honey badger.
That's fair.
That's an exception.
That's a whole different issue. But as far as ASU not letting him into the SDFC, I swear I saw Andre Spite playing pickup basketball at the SDFC, and I don't think he's an ASU student anymore, so that's confusing.
And that would upset me if I was Demarius Randall, because Andre Spite wasn't very good. Demarius Randall was an All-American.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Fair. That's fair. In my mind, followers are followers whenever you get them, so I wouldn't really worry about that. Just be accepting of the followers you do have.
He's an athlete. We all care about followers.
Exactly.
So you're telling Demarius to just enjoy his multi-million-dollar contract and not complain about people reading his 145 character thoughts?
I don't know if it's too much to ask, but I mean, just accept the followers you have.
All right, you heard it from us, Demarius. Calm down.
Thank you so much, Gavin. You might have missed it, but start paying attention to ASU water polo. They had an incredible win over the weekend. Al Gao tied things up at 6 after the first 2 overtimes, and then senior Daisy Carter scored the game-winning goal in the second sudden death overtime. 5 lead changes, 5 ties. Sun Devils will have 2 games this weekend. John Rahm won his 3rd straight Thunderbird Invitational last weekend. Sounds crazy? That's because it is. He's the only golfer to do it. Not even ASU golfing great Phil Mickelson can say the same. The win propelled Rahm to be the 2nd most winningest golfer in ASU history with 9 wins, only behind, you guessed it, Lefty himself. Since 2015, Rahm has finished top 10 in 22 of 24 events. Next for the All-American is the Western Intercollegiate Tournament in San Jose starting Monday. And we've got track and field talking about other sports that we don't normally cover. They are going to the Sun Angel Classic this weekend at Sun Angel Stadium. You can catch our streams on the Pac-12 Digital with Cronkite Sports Talent. Though the Gym Devils didn't have the most successful season, they did have one bright spot in senior Taylor Alex, who will vault for the top spot in the nation. To talk about the upcoming NCAA Gymnastics Championships, we bring in Tyler Paley. Now, Tyler, the Gym Devils didn't win a single meet this year, and they finished 8th in the Pac-12 tourney. So, to be honest, why should ASU fans care about Alex's NCAA bid?
Well, Elaine, it matters for a few reasons. First, she's the first NCAA qualifier since 2010 when Mary Atkinson qualified. Then you factor in all this team went through with 3 big injuries to freshmen who were supposed to lead this team and set the framework for this team, along with head coach Renee Liss being put on indefinite administrative leave. Alex has been the star gymnast ever since she arrived at ASU last year, but this year she improved drastically, tying her career high on vault more than once. In a not-so-great season for the Sun Devils, this was one bright spot.
Alex, obviously an important factor to this team, but she's about to graduate, along with 2 of her teammates, and next year's team looks to be mostly underclassmen. On top of that, like you said, we still have no idea what's going on with Renee Liss and the status of the head coaching position. So looking ahead to next year, what can we expect?
It's tough to say until we know more about the head coaching role. In the past, there have not been too many coaches who have returned after being put on leave for this long, especially at this point in the season. Renee Liss promised that next year the Gym Devils would become a legitimate threat in the Pac-12 and the nation, but now with her status up in the air, along with multiple gymnasts recovering from injuries, this rebuilding process might be prolonged a few more seasons, especially since the rest of the Pac-12 isn't getting any worse.
That's absolutely true. Thank you so much for your insight, Tyler. The NCAA Championships will get underway next Friday in Fort Worth. For full coverage of the championships, be sure to check cronkitesports.com and follow @CronkiteSports on Twitter. Now,
Hello.
obviously, ASU gym kind of up and down, but at this point, I think that's just kind of the way it is.
And we'll use that to segue into the way it is. You guys know the drill. 6 questions, maybe even 5. 15 seconds each, and our producers pick the winner.
Absolutely. We're going to start with ASU basketball. Obviously, we're talking about, we already miss it, right? But Thon Maker, he was a big prospect for ASU, and he has decided that he wants to try and enter the NBA draft, and he's still in high school. So is this going to affect ASU basketball in any way?
It certainly hurts ASU basketball, but it's just like if Maker went to a different school. I mean, maybe it's even better because they don't have a chance of competing against him. Bobby Hurley, they have a lot of guys coming in this recruiting class, a lot of talent coming in next season. I think they'll be just fine. So we were talking about softball earlier, kind of an up and down type of team.
Yeah.
Does this team get a sweep in Pac-12 play?
Again, they're so unpredictable. It's hard to say, but I think this weekend against Washington will be their best chance to do it coming home from that tough series against Cal. Now, back to lacrosse, we talked about that earlier. They've had a historical history,
Yeah.
and now this year they're kind of down. So, do they qualify for the NCAA tournament?
I don't think so. I think they took too many losses early. They never really got into a rhythm and a flow. Todd McRobbie in his first season kind of had to sort some things out. But again, they'll rebuild, they'll reload, and it'll be nice. They'll be back to their normal self. Now, it is April, but we have to talk about football.
Why
Spring
wouldn't we?
football is in
Of
full
course,
swing.
yeah.
And so who's QB1? Bryce Perkins, Brady White, or Manny Wilkins?
Okay, so I really like the idea, and I think I've said this before, of Bryce Perkins being with those Chandler transplants of Chase Lucas and N'Keal Harry. But after what I saw last season and the beginning of spring football, I think it's probably going to be Manny Wilkins. Now, final question. Like we said, we're keeping it to 5 this time because we both want to talk about this so much. That NCAA championship win, was it as poetic as it could be?
That's about as good as you can ask for. I mean, Marcus Page's double pump, weird flailing shot, and then Chris Jenkins answering right back. It was just beautiful. It was poetry. It was the perfect ending to a wonderful game.
Absolutely. Like I just love Jay Wright's reaction at the end. The bang. He's wearing the pinstripe suit. He's the original gangster of the NCAA tournament. Absolutely calm. Now we got to find out who our winner is by changing the monitor in the back from good old Walter Cronkite to one of us. I'm on pins and needles. I think you're 2.
I'm gonna call
you
bang.
have 2.
I'm going to call bang, just a little prediction.
Okay, bang.
See if I can win.
Bang.
No.
Bang. There we go. All right. This week, MLBU made history once again. Jake Barrett, a former Sun Devil, was the first player in Diamondbacks history to play ball in state in high school, then stay in college for 4 years in state, then get drafted in state. What about Tuffy Gozawish, you ask? Well, let me restate. 4 years in college. More and more often, college athletes leave early to go pro. So, shout out to you, Jake, for sticking to your Arizona roots and keeping strong through 4 years. Truthfully, that kind of dedication is hard to find, and that's the way it is. All right, now we're going to our top plays. Let's start with softball. We were talking about her earlier. Jen Soria, that's her first home run of the day. She had 4 bombs over the fence against Cal. Unbelievable.
Unreal. Now we're going to go to the lacrosse field, ASU versus GCU. Check this move out. Tommy Carrasco completely loses the defender from GCU, and we're gonna replay it just to show you how good this was. He hits the B button, you know, he taps it for the quick spin, takes his defender's socks, says bye, and he knifes his way through the defense. It's just all around talent. That's the stuff ASU lacrosse fans are used to seeing. Unfortunately, they did lose to GCU 17-12.
That extension behind, too, was amazing with the stick. I could never do that. Now, number 1, Daisy Carter, game-winning goal, quadruple overtime, beating number 7 Cal, and guess what? It was senior day, too. Senior Daisy Carter getting the game-winning goal and taking it for the Sun Devils.
Daisy had the green light for that shot. There's a great Gatsby reference in there somewhere. But that was I like the little lob. It was a little floater.
Absolutely.
Trey Holder-esque.
I appreciate your literary references on this show. I really appreciate it. That's it from us here at Cronkite Sports Live. Again, make sure you stay close to our Twitter at Cronkite Sports and CronkiteSports.com to get your full coverage, and also Pac-12 Digital. For Zach Pockleb, I'm Elaine Wilson. Thanks for joining us.